trick there on the old broadcaster. All right, let's get started here with our 1 year of what happened in the beginning of these shows, and then I'll be back with you, and then we'll be talking some more. A.M. Eastern Standard Time, as I said it would, and we're here. The phone lines are open, as you can see through the scrolling message here at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit here, make sure I can hear everything going on. It sounds like it's good. Looks like we have good audio output, so that's a key element there this morning to be able to get some audio output going on. And I thought I would start you off here with a little lesson on layers and how layers works with a picture. Welcome to Photoshop Elements Weekly. This is show number 6. And in this show, we're going to be talking about installing and using actions to automate your workflow. We're also going to be talking about color variations, and we're going to look at using a layer mask to relocate people or objects without doing any selection at all. I think you'll be pretty interested in it. So let's go and get started with this week's show with Photoshop Elements Weekly. Okay, so there we are, and we're back up. So hopefully you enjoyed that new opener, and you've seen it is now called Photography Weekly instead of Photoshop Elements Weekly. Now the reason I had to do that, it did make sense, because I got a lot of emails, people watching some of the past shows and said, Jack, you didn't have any Photoshop Elements topics in your show at all. People were getting kind of concerned with that and going, what is the deal there? What's going on? And I said, well, quite frankly, we talk about everything photography. You know, I want to be an all-round photographer with you folks. And you're showing me that, and definitely teaching me it's more than photo editing. And if you've been watching the pictures in the Facebook group, you know that's to be the case. We've seen some very, very nice work coming in there. All the different waterfall pictures. Oh my, I tell you what. So you're showing that it's more than photo editing. It's more about photography, and that's what we want to talk about during the shows. This is actually one I use for my backdrop light, because you can see how small the stand is. But if you look right here, Hugh, if you can see that, right here, this little wing nut just comes off. You just loosen this up, and this pulls right off here, off the light stand. And the light stands come with that kit anyway. This one does not. This came with a older set of lights I bought, this small stand, but you get all the regular size stands. This is a nice stand to use as a backdrop. Okay, and that's it. That's the way the cookie crumbles and the ball rolls on there. With that first set of shows there, that first year that we had, it was a pretty monumental year. And it was just fun, you know, to do those with everybody out there. And we had a really, really great time setting those shows up and just having a good time with everybody each and every week there, as we do now. So, you know, and like I said, I wanted more people to be on the live stream, but it is what it is. If I teach 5 people a week, then that's 5 more people that we're reaching that we can actually show how to do photography and, you know, how to create better pictures. So anyway, and you can't call in. I know that last couple slides said to call into the show, but unfortunately, once again, I can't remember my Skype password. You know, that happens anyway. So what we're going to do now, though, is we are going to bring you a restoration video. You might have seen this some time ago. But, you know, these are a recap of some of my some of my work that I've done over the years, and I just wanted to bring these to you. So now you learned you use Photoshop Elements to do a restore, to restore your picture. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started with the restore video. I hope you enjoy this. Hey, welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner. This is another Photoshop Elements video tutorial. In today's tutorial, as the title I'm sure said, we are going to look at couple updated ideas for you repainting or touching up your old black and white photos. Now I came across a couple different ways to do it to add on to Mike's way of doing it from our live video stream. And I want to go ahead and show you the steps that I found that also may help you out. The first thing that I think would help you out tremendously is to use a Wacom or a Wacom graphics board. Now these can be found on eBay. That's where I found this one, relatively cheap. This is one of the larger graphics boards, but I found this one for about $60 on eBay because it's an older model and it still works incredibly well. So to hook this up, we're going to so the graphics board works with a stylus, so it makes it very easy to paint on your picture. Now here's what I came up with, and as the show, I'm going to actually give a little bit of credit back. Actually, I'll give all the credit back to Kevin Rice, who mentioned this during the live shows. Can we use blending modes? Can we use layer blending modes? So I'm going to go ahead and use the blending modes right now and show you how that works. What we're going to do here first, I'm going to take the hat and I'm just going to delete that layer. So I'm just going to turn it off. Now that's what the normal picture looked like before I started to restore it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to increase it by blowing it up here with the magnifying glass. And we're just going to blow this area up right here so we can see the hat better. What we're going to do now is create a new layer. And I just leave it in normal mode and I'm just going to paint. This way, if you notice during the live video, what we had trouble with, if you keep clicking the mouse button and going over, it kept getting darker and darker and darker. What we're going to do here is demonstrate that it's okay to leave it as dark as you want, and we'll change it with the blending modes. So let's go ahead and pick a color. Pick a little bit redder color. We're going to go ahead and grab a brush. And I'll just start painting now with my stylus. And we're going to lower the brush size down a little bit. And I'm just painting over here. So even though it's a little dark red, that's fine. We're going to show you how that's going to come back to life very, very quickly. We're going to go turn that down a little bit more. And like I said, always blow this up when you work. When I originally worked on this picture, it took me about 3 hours to finish it. And granted, I'm not half as good as what Mike is, who did the demonstration on our live video, which is, if you watched the last video on my YouTube there, it's the Photoshop Weekly number 43, features Mike, and Mike actually did the painting through that video, and he will show you everything you need to know. This is just an add-on, a way I found a couple little steps to save you a little bit of time. So as you see there, we're just painting the edges right now, just so I can get in there, because this hat is not perfectly straight on any means. I guess it was probably like a straw hat, I'm sure. Okay, now we're just going to paint this in. Like I said, I'm just using the left and right bracket key there to change the brush size. You guys know how to do that. We're going to go ahead and just touch this up a little bit. Here. One thing about this, when you start restoring old photos and painting, give yourself some time. Don't rush it. That's why it took me 3 hours to do this. All right. So now that we have the hat painted, what we want to do now is we are going to go back over to the pull down menu here for the layer blending mode. And I found that multiply seems to work very well for me. So click on multiply. And you'll see now it blended that hat, and you can see all the detail through the hat itself. You can also try the other blending modes like overlay. You can see that doesn't really work because you're just overlaying that red, and it doesn't really work out quite as well. Soft light, and that doesn't really work out as well. So I would just go ahead and use multiply. Now, there's one other way I'm going to show you how you can save time and color this hat. But when I'm on this layer, I want to show you how we can adjust that color a little bit just by bringing up another tool. On here, if you're using Windows, the shortcut is Control U. If you're using a Mac, it's Command U. And you bring up the Hue and Saturation palette. So with this Hue and Saturation palette, we can actually click on Colorize. And now we could change this and actually change that hat to any color you basically want. As you can see, it's keeping the basic style with our layers style or blending mode. But we can just move that back and forth. We can make it oversaturated. We can bring the saturation back. And we can use the lightness control back and forth. We can make it darker, which looks really, really terrible. Make it lighter. So all the way back over this side would be more of the red color I started with. Or back this way. Let's just say we wanted to change it and leave it blue. We'll just leave it there. So here I have, if I turn this off, here I have my red hat. Or in here, now I have my blue hat. And if you want to look at different things like that, I'm just clicking on and off the visibility on the layer itself. That's how you can play with different colors. You can have each layer be a different color. Now that we have that one, let's go ahead and turn that visibility off, and I'm going to show you one more way that I've seen how to actually change the color of this. So go ahead and do another new layer. Shut this red one off also. There you go. And now on the blending mode, right up here, go all the way down and click on color to start yourself off. Now you're going to notice when we paint, it's not going to overcast anything. Watch. It's actually painting, and I even tried, I went over and over and over this, and I can't get it any darker. I clicked, and it doesn't get any darker at all. It's locked in, so it's actually just colorizing it, just like we did before with the blending modes. Again, I'm going to just lower my brush size down here. Again, this is just a nice really quick job there. I already got this saved out. You guys probably seen this on the Facebook group. If you're not on our Facebook group, please join it at Jack's. It's Jack's Tech Corner is the group name on Facebook. Jack's Tech Corner. You'll find us on Facebook. It's a great group. Over 150 people in there now, so we are doing a great job there. You can also watch my live show every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on live.jackstechcorner.com. You can catch it there. There you go. So everything's painted in now. Once you have everything painted in on this layer, do the same thing with that layer selected. Either Control U or Command U. Bring up your hue and saturation. Click on Colorize. And again, you can go now through your colors. And again, you'll see that they're set in there really nicely. It's really easy to work this out. Go back to that red, bring the saturation up a little bit more. And you can see I can create just about the same effect I did before. Just like that. So there's just a couple more tips for you to make coloring even a little bit easier. Just some time-saving tips. And hopefully, you can use those tips. And again, thanks to Mike for his inspiration on painting this particular picture. And thanks to Kevin for his thoughts of using the blending modes, which seems to work very, very well. So again, if you've enjoyed this video tutorial, please check out my website, jackstechcorner.com, and look at the training DVDs and pick one of those up today. I think you'll be very impressed with it, and continue your Photoshop editing, and keep getting better. And getting better at this is just basically taking your time and learning and playing around. So until next time, keep those shutters clicking, keep the editors editing. I'll see you back here very soon on Jack's Tech Corner with another Photoshop Elements video tutorial. Bye for now. Okay, so that was just another little tutorial I did there, a while back, and hopefully they keep getting better for you guys each time. That we work on these things, and we hope that it gets better for you anyway each time. It's funny with how many Photoshop Elements versions I have done over the years, and I did want to show you this too. This is kind of funny. I did that restoration video a while back, and now my wife handed me this picture that she wants restored. So I'm going to be working on this one actually today. I'll probably be building a new video, and the only thing I would be working on here is highlighting the color and cleaning it up, make it a little bit crisp. I see a little bit of highlights. If you can see some highlights on this boy's face right here, how highlighted that is, probably from the window that used to be. Get my finger over on this side here. There's a window, and it was probably throwing some light into that room. So I'll be restoring this picture today, and I think I'll be building a YouTube video around that. The act of photography itself, has always amazed me. And now that we can do it in digital form, well, of course now for many, many years, has even been more amazing. That's why I got into this business some time ago. And, I got into teaching it after taking many, many, many countless hours of classes on it. And not always formal. A lot of the training that we get today, even, when you're working on anything in life, a lot of the training you get today is wrapped around YouTube videos, And I got into creating my YouTube videos some time ago just because the simple fact was I was sick and tired of every time I went to pull up a video to watch to learn something. I get some guy typing text on there. You need to type this tone, and then you get this loud blaring music. That's not how you learn. You learn by narration, right? You talk somebody through the way of doing things, and that's how you want to learn. So that's why I started creating these YouTube videos some time ago. And now we're going into a new year, and I have a whole nother facet of things I want to do, and I have actually a whole new website I created to bring this stuff to you. But it is what it is. But photography is great, and I'm sure you are enjoying your photography every step of the way. The next video, we're going to talk to you a little bit about speedlights. So if you've never used speedlights, or if you've never played with speedlights, I think this video is going to clear it up. Again, this is one that I've done in the past, so we're going to play this video for you and let you enjoy this one. And then after the video, I shall be back to talk to you again about a little bit more about photography, and then we'll be wrapping this show. And I really wished I would have had my Skype open today, but I had to restore my computer. It's about a 5-year, I think it's about a 5-year-old iMac, and there was just too much junk on it. And I thought, you know what, I need to restore this computer and get it cleaned up. So I wiped it totally off. I started from scratch. I reloaded the new Yosemite operating system, and then I started reinstalling all my applications on it. So anyway, so Skype is no longer on it, of course, and of course I don't remember my password. I'm going to look it up during this next video. I thought I wrote it down somewhere. I really did. So maybe I can find that. Maybe I can bring Skype alive here. So if you guys want to call in and just say good morning here, hello, I would love to hear from you. So if you have Skype and Skype set up, it would be wonderful to hear from you. So we're going to play this next video, and then I'll be back after this one. So I'm not sure how long it is, but I think we'll be okay. So let's go ahead and start the video up here on Speedlights. Welcome to The Photography Guy. I'm your host, The Photography Guy. Let's get started here with another great photo show. Yes, I am The Photography Guy, and welcome back to the podcast. Hope you're having a great day today. And I want to thank you for coming to this podcast, listening to The Photography Guy, as well as downloading and subscribing the shows. I do appreciate that. In this show, we wanted to get right underway here. We want to start talking about using a speed light so you can get the most out of your camera, and I want to teach you a little bit about the speed light so you can get more out of your speed lights. Now, a lot of people take the speed light, and they take the speed light like this, and they put it right on top of their camera, and they take the flash and actually flash it right into the people's eyes with their speed light. So they're angling the speed light straight down, and they're going to shoot straight into the folks, into their eyes. Now, it does help a little bit with the speed light because the speed light goes on your hot shoe on your camera. Now, once it's on the hot shoe on the camera, what happens is it does get it up above the actual camera itself, which is really, really nice because you're getting it above the eye level just a little bit, and you're adding just a little bit more flattering light. But it still, to me, seems to be just a little bit on the flat side. That's what we want to watch, is we don't want to get this light in their eyes or directly on their face and make it flat. So we can actually take the speed light and we can remove it from the camera and we can take it somewhere else. Now we can do that in two different ways. Actually, three different ways if you're using a Nikon camera. Let's go with the first way with the Nikon camera. The first way, you can use the Creative Lighting System, or they call it the CLS. Now, the CLS means if you're using a Nikon flash, like a SB600, 700, 8, or 900, then you can use that flash and you can use the camera's built-in infrared to trigger the flash. And when you do that, it will take all the TTL information through the lens metering information from the camera, and it will fire your flash. No matter where this flash is, as long as it can see that pulse from the camera, it will fire it. And that's all built into the Nikon system. And I'm sure Canon has something the same. Now, the second way we can do this, and another way that I do it a lot of times when I'm shooting weddings, another inexpensive way to do it is to use a cord. Now, I'm not talking about the flash sync cord because a lot of the cameras don't have a sync port inside. I'm talking about a TTL cord that hooks right to the hot shoe, and it hooks to the hot shoe of the camera and the bottom of the flash. In this way, again, you're sending all that same signaling information from your camera to the flash via a cable. So you're kind of hooked to the flash. Not the greatest situation or the greatest solution in the world, but it does work, and it works very, very well. Now, the last solution, or the third solution I'm going to tell you about, is using a flash trigger, such as this trigger right here. I use the impact triggers, and the impact triggers are very nice because they're inexpensive. I bought my first set for $149. That gives me the base unit that the flash goes on, and the flash simply plugs right on to the base unit of the trigger, and that goes onto a light stand. So just like this, you turn it on, and then you have the control unit, and that control unit is actually sitting on top of your camera, and you turn that on. Now, you do with the impact triggers, we do lose the TTL, or through the lens metering. And what we also have is, what we also are able to do with the TTL is, or not having the TTL, we do all manual flash. So we use this and we do manual flash is what we're doing with this particular flash trigger. Now, you can go with the better ones, and I know you might be thinking this. You can go with the Pocket Wizards. I think it's the Flex system. It's the TT5 and the TT1. I believe that's what the numbers are. Don't quote me on that. But you're looking at spending about $450 for the Flex system. So when you buy that system, then you can use TTL again if you have a Nikon flash. Myself, I like using more inexpensive flashes just because they're easy to come by and they don't naturally cost a whole lot and they work very well. And I actually use a light meter, which we'll get into in another segment on these podcasts, and we'll talk about that then. So that's the part of getting this light, is getting it away. So we put this on our flash trigger or on our cord, or however you want to fire it. We put the flash onto a light stand, and you can buy those light stands at Amazon. You could pick those up usually for about $12. You don't need a real expensive light stand. And you could take the flash and you put it on a 45-degree angle from your subject. Now you have a more pleasing light coming into the subject and actually flashing across their face, giving them more detail instead of just straight on and flattening their face out. So that's a great way you can use your flash. And you can use these speed lights. What I really like shooting speed lights for is I can use these outdoors and in the studio. And they're very inexpensive, most of them. The Nikon and Canon flashes are very expensive, but the Yongnuo flashes, which I use, and they work very, very well, extremely well for the price. I was even shocked. Yongnuo, and you could buy those from Amazon. But, you know, a lot of those flashes started, I think I bought my cheapest one for about $30. So, and they work very well. But they don't do TTL. Remember that. They do not do through the lens metering, or they do not do the Canon creative lighting system that the Canon uses. But they do flash, and if you use a light meter, you don't need to worry about it anyway. The next thing you want to use when you're using off-camera flashes is a modifier. And we're going to look at modifiers later on down the road and talk about modifiers more, about how you use those in the studio, as well as how you actually use those anywhere else. You could even, I use modifiers outdoors as much as indoors. So yeah, the softboxes work really, really great, and it's a good thing. But an umbrella is the greatest modifier as far as the price. If you see behind my head here, on my head, we're talking here, and I'm going to explain to you in a minute about what you're seeing. But this is an umbrella, and this is a white shoot-through umbrella. And again, on Amazon, you can pick up an umbrella for about $12 for a decent umbrella. I suggest ordering, if you can, if you have $25 to drop on them, buy 2 of them. Because if something cracks or something breaks on one, you can throw it away and use your secondary umbrella. I actually purchased a larger umbrella. It's about I'm going to say almost a 3 to 4 foot. I think it's 60 or 70 inch umbrella. And what I like using that for is large groups, because you shoot your flash either through an umbrella like this. We can have the umbrella, we can shoot through the umbrella, or we shoot into the umbrella and spread the light everywhere. That's what I like to do with that big umbrella, is to spread the light over a large group of people. And it works very, very well. Like I said, later on down the road, we'll talk about modifiers and how modifiers work. The one thing I can tell you about speed lights is make sure before you go on any shoot, even when we go to a wedding, or if I go to a gathering anywhere, or anywhere I'm going to go shoot, I always pack a brand new pack of batteries. And don't buy the cheap batteries, because you're just going to be heartbroken when your flash doesn't work, and then you're going to be stuck down the road somewhere. What I do suggest is you buy some good quality batteries, either Evereadys or Duраcells, or maybe if you have some really good rechargeable batteries. A lot of people like to use those, and they work very, very well. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this little segment, this podcast on lighting and using a speed light for your photography needs. It works very, very well. And when I said you can look and see this and see that, what I was talking about, if you go to youtube.com/thephotographyguy, you're not going to see some video feeds. I know earlier on we talked about having a subscription part of the site, but you're going to see a video feed of this actual podcast where I showed the actual flash. I showed the actual impact trigger is what I use, the impact triggers. I showed that, and I showed the umbrella. So that's kind of a show and tell. I wanted to make this all the time so you can just listen and you can hear, this podcast, because I know I like listening to podcasts, when I'm driving to work or when I'm coming home. It's just a nice relaxation way to learn and just kind of listen in. Or I like to tell people, get your camera out, put a set of earbuds on and listen to this, and play with your flash as I talk you through it. That's another great way to learn. So thank you again for very, very much for listening to this podcast. You're making it a success. Those of you out there listening, and if you know other photographers, please spread the word to listen to The Photography Guy. Thank you so much for coming, and please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the shows. I'll see you next time here on The Photography Guy. So long for now. Thanks for tuning in to The Photography Guy. I am a photography guy, and I'll be here once again next time for more photography tips and tricks. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the show and enjoy the music. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining me here. Again, I have to say Happy New Year to everybody out there. Sorry for the little bit of issues we had at the beginning of the show because it was a little touch and go there, but I think I get everything worked out. So have a great New Year, and I'll be talking to everybody next year, I guess, in 2015, with some new plans, some new shows layouts, some new stuff coming your way. So stay tuned. Again, if you're not following this network, please follow us here on live stream. I would appreciate it. I'll talk to everybody next year. Goodbye for now. Thanks for tuning in to The Photography Guy. I am a photography guy, and I'll be here once again next time for more photography tips and tricks. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the show and enjoy the music.